Hello. The story that I've chosen to read today from the Bible comes from the book of Ruth. It takes place in the Old Testament during the time of Judges, and the reason that I decided to read it is because it's a love story that changes the world. I'll be reading from chapter 1, verses 1 through 12, 14 through 19, and 22, and chapters 2, verse 1 through 12, and 19 through 21. In the days when the judges ruled, there was a famine in the land. So a man from Bethlehem in Judah, together with his wife and 2 sons, went to live a while in the country of Moab. The man's name was Elimelech, his wife's name Naomi, and the name of his 2 sons were Milian and Kilian. Now Elimelech, Naomi's husband, died, and she was left with her 2 sons. They married Moabite women, one named Orpah and the other Ruth. After they had lived there about 10 years, both Milian and Kilian also died, and Naomi was left without her 2 sons and her husband. When Naomi heard in Moab that the Lord had come into the aid of the people by providing food for them, she and her daughter-in-laws prepared to return from there to the land of Judah. Then Naomi said to her 2 daughter-in-laws, "Go back, each of you, to your mother's home. May the Lord show you kindness as you had shown kindness to your dead husbands and to me. May the Lord grant that each of you will find rest in your home of another husband." Then she kissed them goodbye, and they wept aloud and said to her, "We will go back with you and your people." But Naomi said, "Return home, my daughters. Why would you come with me? Am I going to have any more sons? Who would become your husbands? No, my daughters, it is more bitter for you than me. More bitter for me than you, because the Lord's hand has turned against me." At this they wept aloud. Then Orpah kissed her mother goodbye, but Ruth clung to her. "Look," said Naomi, "your sister-in-law is going back to her people and her gods. Go back with her." But Ruth replied, "Don't urge me to leave you or to turn my back from you. Where you go, I will go. Where you stay, I will stay. Your people will be my people and your God my God. Where you die, I will die, and there I will be buried. May the Lord deal with me, be it ever so severe, if even death separate you and me." When Naomi realized that Ruth was determined to go with her, she stopped urging her. The 2 women went on until they came to Bethlehem. Now Naomi had a relative on her husband's side, a man standing from the clan of Elimelech, whose name was Boaz. And Ruth the Moabite said to Naomi, "Let me go to the fields and pick the leftover grain behind anyone in whose eyes I find favor." Naomi said to her, "Go ahead, my daughter." So she went out, entered the field, and began to glean behind the harvesters, and as it turned out, she was working in a field belonging to Boaz, who was from the clan of Elimelech. Just then Boaz arrived from Bethlehem and greeted the harvesters. "The Lord be with you." "The Lord bless you," they answered. Boaz asked the overseer of the harvester, "Who does that young woman belong to?" The overseer replied, "She is a Moabite who came back from Moab with Naomi. She said, 'Please let me glean and gather among the sheaves behind the harvesters.' She came to the field and has remained here from morning until now, except for the short rest in the shelter." So Boaz said to Ruth, "My daughter, listen to me. Don't go and glean in another field, and don't go away from here. Stay here with the women who work for me. Watch the field where the men are harvesting, and follow along the other women." At this she bowed down with her face to the ground. She asked him, "Why have I found such favor in your eyes that you notice me, a foreigner?" Boaz replied, "I have been told about what you have done for your mother-in-law since the death of your husband, how you left your father and mother and homeland and came to live with people you did not know. May the Lord repay you for all that you have done." Then Ruth told her mother-in-law about the one whose place she had been working. "The name of the man I worked with today is Boaz," she said. "The Lord bless him," Naomi said to her daughter-in-law. "He has not stopped showing his kindness for the living and the dead. That man is our closest relative. He is one of our guardian redeemers." In conclusion, Naomi advises Ruth to lay with Boaz and ask him to be the guardian redeemer. What was supposed to be an arranged marriage ended up to be true love. They married and had a child, Obed, whose father is Jesse and grandfather is King David. Jesus was born 23 generations later in that same line. Life is sometimes hard, but God is always good. Thank you.